If it helps, Demon One has only ever played Raisin Jet on Sunset and nothing else.
Don't think he'll be
Does that
playing either
help?
of those this time.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's take a look at Agent Select now and see where we are going to go with this. It's Cypher. It is, I guess, stepping in 1-for-1 at this point.
Yeah, we had the question because it didn't really happen in that map 1, but going into this map 2 of Sunset, it's going to be Demon 1 on that Cypher, and they're going to continue playing this double duelist with that Neon and that Yoru.
Yeah, the real difference here is the fade over the Sova. I think this puts us into this conversation we've been having around Demon 1 on an island, on the Cypher specifically. This feels like they've just slotted him exactly into the plans that they wanted to have prior.
They've done the swap again. It's Izu, Yoru, and Buzz Neon. You like this?
Yeah, it's now 2 maps in a row where they seem that this is like a very intentional thing. I'm curious, is it a comfort situation? Does Izu just feel more comfortable on the Yoru? It's tough to say, really.
And also in the map 1, we saw so many great duels between Demon 1 and Meteor. Now they're in the same Agent. They're both playing Cypher. They're going to that second map. I want to see more of those duels again.
I can't wait to see it. Let's jump into game and throw this back to Mitch and Tom.
Thank you, Yinsu. It's time to get into map number 2. The first was a tight affair, but T1 are leading by 1 map. And this is their choice on Sunset. Another debut for Demon 1 as he picks up the Cypher, sticking onto that role as we would expect.
Yeah, I like the fact that DRG have not come in and try and change everything up around him. You're the team that qualified. You're the team that made it. He's got a slot into your right. And I don't think, like, by any stretch of the imagination, he came in trying to change it either. Cypher definitely can be tougher on that hole, but at least for now, it's going to be DH continuing how he did on the last map. A fantastic individual performance. And well, a recovery already needed in this pistol. It is a firing squad with DH leading the scoreboard already. And while Buzz is there to close it out, a pistol round for T1.
A solid start indeed for T1 as DRG trail by 1, but they were able to make the fight fairly early on in the previous. See if that'll be the case again. DH, well, he was certainly a man that drew our eye throughout the entirety of regulation over on Lotus, but in those last couple rounds, the last round of regulation, especially the first of overtime,
yeah,
he seemed like a one-man army.
Well, for a 19-year-old playing his first map on an international stage, and it's a Champions, that was about as good as it gets.
Yeah, especially in the late stage. Pressure was on for DRG. The pressure increases. They need 2 maps in a row. And starting out with a 1-0 loss, and Meteor's playing incredibly aggressive with the Marshall in hand.
I think he's hit 0 shots.
Yes, they were mostly through the smoke, so I'll give him that
shots.
credit. But it certainly scared DRG away. They grabbed the orb and moved towards middle. This is all classics, nothing upgraded.
There we go.
You really don't
There
expect
we
to
go.
see a lot of contest. Meteor good for 2 at least. The player spotted crossing with a jump scare from Buzz. And they're losing a few, but that's a pistol. Okay, now I'm getting worried. Now I'm getting really worried. And they know where DH is as well. This man's been so reliable, but an early response like this from DRG, this could really
There we go.
disrupt the rhythm. A rifle, but only 30 HP, Tom. He's got to get the jump on DH.
Headshot will do it. That's the thing. DH has light shield, so a single bullet to the face would be enough to win the round. Now, he believes that he has baited
30 seconds left.
DH, but DH has just sat at the bottom of middle. He's waiting on this fight, and it gets a little bit scary. But that youngster is the safe pair of hands again. He's looking to try and get the rifle, and he will find it.
Yeah, that's at least a silver lining, but the same as the previous map. It's great damage from DRG. They had nothing. And a few more bullets loaded up into that Marshall, and maybe this could have been a clean round, but the fact that these classics are able to win fights like this from Ackerman straight down middle. That made that incredibly close, and you can see how tense it got on T1's side of the stage. They win it, but again, they have to invest fully.
Look at this round. Oh, it's a singular rifle being put into the hands of Buzz. The rest really isn't much, but well, if Buzz is playing like this, maybe it won't matter. This is a terrible bonus round coming in from T1, but somehow it's working. They came in with a singular rifle, I think a stinger and a few pistols.
Yep.
And now Demon 1 has to try and save DRG from, I want to say, embarrassment.
Now, this is not a round they should be losing. But Demon 1 in a 1v3. 2 players on that angle. Spike secured as well. He's got all the info to work with now at least, but what is that going to do for him? And I love this positioning as well. Look how spread out they are. Buzz to take contact on his right, and then a big swing from Izu. He's tucked in though. He set himself up for success, Demon 1 did, but Buzz, the one to carry this round through for T1. I'm thinking before we get back into the game, okay, they've got to fully invest, right? We get in a barrier up, they've got nothing. Oh, it's an easy round. That's what you would think, but Buzz made it an uphill battle, and they came tumbling down. 3-0 start.
Again, you just talk about the supportive utility, the paranoia that came through. I think Stax is the one that, yeah, he puts that dart into the corner, and as they swap to look to the dart, that's when Buzz peaks. Like, it's just a perfect setup for that exact push. And while DRG fell into the trap, they lose to an incredibly weak bonus, and T1 have got a flying start.
This round, light shields across the board. Easy with the Outlaw.
A lot of stingers, though.
Yeah, they've got to get close. That's the real problem. Those shots don't land. The gate crash is used to get out of dodge before that's a little too scary. Now, those stingers are nice and close. All of these fights look maybe even favorable for them. T1 have to group, take these fights together. It's Izu looking for some on his own, but around that laneway, when they come to push back in, that's where DRG really pack a punch, not just on close range, but with the numbers by their side as well. Flexen picks up a double. Spirit Z1 there as well. This could be DRG's round. A return. A MasterCard Thrifty as they put one on the board on their weaker round. That's one way to reset after a third round embarrassment.
If we could just swap the last 2 rounds over, I think we have a perfectly normal game. But no, it is just the pace they were able to get in. Obviously, Buzz was so low. That second kill was very easy, but from then onwards, it's just stellar work. Playing these close range angles, knowing the vulnerabilities of their weaponry. And while Flexin and Spirit Z1 have now given them a round they never should have had. Balance restored, 3-1, and this is where we'll see the buy. A pretty strong one coming back up for T1 with an operator for Izu.
So far, the best rounds from DRG, where they've got 4 stingers, and the next best was when they had classics. And it wasn't a pistol round either. A very, very strange start. But this has been an unusual series, looking back at Lotus. Now rifles invested on both sides. For T1, they're taking a pretty heavy blow in the last, but a 3-0 start, especially when they didn't buy in round 3, that's going to give them enough to buy right back into this. Buzz has ultimate to work with, but I'm looking at the other side for DRG. Ackerman 1 away, but Spirit Z1 already has that dimensional drift, and on the attack side, that's probably going to be used here to clear up all this space and maybe stop Izu from having the impact with the operator. He's on the angle, waiting for his chance to strike, and there it is. The gate crash back to safety. But Spirit Z1, he's got the sight for them.
Yeah, just clearing out any risky angles will allow the rest of the team to run through clean. Although saying that, Meteor's managed to find one on the cross. I think that's Demon 1 trying to jump around the edge, and instead another solid paranoia thrown through to give Buzz a little bit more. The TP to the other side, it leaves Nick, but he's done well. He's managed to make this one look interesting. Flex implants on the other side of the map, and now has a 1 versus 2 to play with.
Well, Flexen's first half on Lotus was a disaster class. It was picked off in aim A, and it felt like in every round. But here's his chance. He certainly warmed up in the second. Now carry through that momentum to a 1 versus 2. He's got Izu and DH, 2 big players for T1. The operator swapped out. It is just the rifle, but Flexen isolates 1. 10 bullets left, but time ticking. Playing inside his smoke. He can challenge as soon as it's tapped, but Izu! He expected it! Lands the shot with plenty of time. I think he's putting the gate crash through to attempt to reclaim that up, but surely it's too far.
Yeah, it's not going to get it. Even still, though, a very nice attempt for the remaining couple of players to teleport to the other side of the map. Nick being able to get a couple, and then coming down to the wire. This reaction shot was tasty from Izu. I think even he's impressed with himself. And what could have been a close clutch for DRG ends up putting them back. In a problematic scenario. Then again, you said it yourself, they did better with the Stingers.
Yeah, we're right back to it. But only 2 Stingers this time. They've still got those rifles to back them up. Demon 1 and Spirit Z1, the carriers of the heavy weaponry. And this will be, again, a round where DRG move together. And still going to be disrupted by Izu. And nasty angle in mid. That's Ackerman down. And especially in a round like this, Tom, especially with a Stinger, seeing him slide in and get up close, close that distance, gain you space, that's, you really want your Neon for a round like this. Huge pick from Izu. And he keeps the control on mid as well. That gate crash, not even that close to fading, so he can stick around for quite a while.
They've not been able to clear him either. So he's still going to have this very fast flank, and because of that, they have a very good idea that there hasn't been a rotation. 3 players still committed to this B side of the map as they look to try and make their way through.
Oh, a missed shot by DH though. That's given them an opportunity on DRG. When they got the plant, that's where things changed with Stingers in hand. This time it's beforehand. When Flexen goes diving into market, they've got good control, and Demon 1 lands his shot on backside. Stax might have to back off. He's sticking around. He's getting up close, and he'll get the jump on Flexen, but the correction for Demon 1 isn't there. Meteor alone, and Nick will put him in the grave. They really are better when these weaker weapons come out as second round for DRG.
I'm not sure it's they. I think it's Flexen.
Yeah,
I think Flexen's just 100%. very good with the Stinger. Like, he's a little bit more aggressive in the way that he plays. Like, just looks to try and get up in their face the second he has this gun. And yeah, just look, he's TPing into angles, just playing up close. And Demon 1 also having a solid round at that. Definitely some frustration, and you can understand why. They've lost 2 rounds, and both of them, the core of it, has been Stingers.
Yeah, those are the rounds that, you know, you've already done the hard work. Then it's just about converting your advantage, doubling down on it. Aggressive play, Flexen under pressure. Stax already wrapping around, and Flexen won't escape. The wall bang to connect the pick and get a rifle. For the Team 1 side, it's the only one they have to work with. Look at DRG, they're walking into the spawn. They're taking a very deep fight. Meteor will contain them at least alongside Buzz. It's all about avoiding that rifle for them.
Yeah, that's the thing. If they go into A, they're actually going to plant for backside. I don't mind this, but it does mean that they're almost completely surrounded. Stax is actually going to try and utilize the Hunter's Fury, and the rest of them, while this is going on, are putting the pressure onto Spirit Z1. They keep the advantage, and Izu is now the one that's been given that rifle. It's whether or not they can retrieve the other. Doesn't seem like it. They're going to split back in the other direction, try and group up as DH still creates the illusion that there's a player here, and in the meantime, Izu goes walkabouts. Now they have the dimensional drift. They can find everyone else.
Drops the rifle over as well, picks up another as he's running around the site. Ackerman and Nick have their work cut out for them. Ackerman good for the first, and the trade out makes it possible. But Meteor's classic is what takes them across the line.
This game is weird.
Course correction from T1, but
Thrifty.
I don't know what is going to happen next here. As a MasterCard Thrifty won out by the defensive side. Continues the madness of not just this map, but this series.
So yeah, you've got the first 2 rounds, then you've got T1 winning a round that was 1 rifle, pistols, and a Stinger.
Yep.
Then you've got the opposing side winning around with almost all Stingers.
Yep.
Then a normal-ish round. And then, well, actually, no, it was an 8 HP clutch. Never mind, wasn't that normal. Then you have another Stinger round, and then you have this round. It's weird. And, well, T1, I'm sure Autumn is kind of got to retract his slamming on the table, because now they've ended up in, I guess, an even better spot. But they're up against Stingers again, so who the hell knows?
Well, we've seen it with 4. We've seen it with 2.
These are warning shots. He's spraying the Stinger. He's like, now they know I'm coming.
Well, they certainly do. All that utility fired through, but Spirit Z1 the first of all. Flexen again, but Stack steps up. A 3 versus 2 that they find themselves in. The TP to backside for early control, and it might not even be needed. Demon 1 all alone. Last time, he had a pretty hefty disadvantage, but this 1v3, a Guardian in hand. And a good idea of where this player is. He is checking this left corner. TH needs to be quick on the trigger, and he will be shut down. The spike, though, is not in a good position. With no cage left to cover the cross, that off could... What? A jump shot with the Guardian. That's one hell of an attempt. Now he knows that that op is on the other side, but hitting this shot will be difficult. Uses the cam to bait him out, and he's done so successfully, but he can't land the shot, and the stun sends him running back. The classic round the corner. That's a risky play. They've given Demon1 a chance, and he may land this shot, but it's one bullet in the mag. Not enough as Buzz lands his, and 6-2 on the board. Again, though, anything but a normal round.
Yeah, I feel like they fully believed he was hit by that stun. That's the only reason I can think of, that Izu would run around that corner with a classic, but it just feels like at times T1 want to make this as uncomfortable for them, and I'm guessing their fans at home as possible, because that was way too close. Who's Greg?
Pal's here? I think it might be that he's cracked, I'll tell you that. 6-2. The lead for T1.
Well, they find it funny.
They've been slamming desks in the coaching booth.
I need sort of like that side by side. Like just like Autumn slamming the desk and then cut to DH just laughing his head off.
Yeah.
Like it's just the parallel of the coaching staff versus in the server, and I can definitely understand why, because although they are winning in some of the weirdest ways I've ever seen.
Without a doubt. A 4-round lead, but with the way this game has gone, it could be swinging either way. For DRG, though, this is a disastrous start. Of course, they're on their opponent's map pick, and having been so close to closing out Lotus. A few big clutches, big rounds from DH, the man that was happy down on that stage. That's what robbed them of it. And now you start to be left in the dust as T1 run away with it despite incredibly close rounds, despite winning 2 where they had extremely light buys, essentially saving their credits for the next and somehow finding it there. But when the next came, it was defeat.
They also lost 2 in the exact same way.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
perfectly balanced.
In essence, yes, but in the feel of the match, no. Like, I feel like the last map was a lot closer, but not with this much insanity.
Yeah.
But hey, for T1, they're on their map choice. At times, they have been fairly dominant when it comes to the defense, but in their most recent match versus RRQ, it was the attack that they ran away with. So, scoreline alone, I think they'll be very happy with the position they find themselves in. At the same time, in their most recent victory versus BLG, it was a 10-2 defensive half for DRG. Now, saying they can recreate that, again, with how things are going so far, maybe not so likely. They're going to want at least a little bit of wiggle room.
I think the interesting thing about this, and I know you folks are getting your stage shots, but when we get back into the game, you'll see that T1 actually left in a suboptimal position.
What do you mean? They have a Stinger. That's a great
They have to
go.
play with a Stinger despite winning 2 rounds in a row, and I think that really tells the story of how this has gone. A streak of 2, but every round has been so damn close.
Well, what I've been told as well is that although we do currently have ourselves a technical pause, DRG are going to take a tactical pause directly after this. So this may be a slightly elongated pause for more than one reason, because I can understand why. Like the manner in which you're losing a lot of these rounds are like, I feel like a lot of control has been given over on B main. I feel like they've left a player there lurking to try and hold on to it. I don't think they've had too much success when they've gone for these more direct A hits. And other than those B hits with low buys, there hasn't been anything that's worked for them on the attack side. And that is alarm bells, because if you get those couple of rounds, you build off it, you start getting yourself into the half, you show something with your buy rounds that you're able to sort of maybe bait players into certain fights or get certain map control, then I'm not worried for you. But when they're the only rounds you're winning, that shows that, okay, it's only these cheese rounds where you're able to get up close in someone's face and spray them down with an SMG. That probably means that this attack side is going as bad as it could be, and you've just had a little bit of luck that's helped you out. So I'm definitely nervous for DRG, because as we sort of mentioned, the importance not only of this match, but the whole tournament, of them not just trying to battle the champions, which is the goal of everybody's year, but also they still have their life on the line for just being in Tier 1. They are one of 2 teams that is the case. And you then have to consider the group that they're in. Like, okay, sure, a match versus Sentinels is a tough one, but you're going to be up against either the previous year's Champions finalist or G2, who most people coming into this event put them at least top 2. Like, you're either having them or PaperX, who's probably favorites for the whole thing. So it is seeming like the loser of this match has got a tougher match in the lower bracket.
And I want to look back at the previous map. You know, DRG, they didn't win the first half. They were 7-5, but we talked about their attack side, playing with the Waylay Yoru, and how much benefit that's going to bring to them. Now, coming into this one, 6-2 down and a chance for this to extend further for T1. Where do you see, from this point, the goalposts for DRG being? Where do they have to hit to give them a chance in half number 2?
It's difficult. We do now head into our DRG tactical timeout. As said, that was coming. The producers did not lie to me. They only do that to Pans. But nonetheless, back to your point, I think that I kind of want to see them try and level this up because, sure, a 10-2 defense last time out, but versus BLG the time before, 8-4 attack, versus XOG 10-2 attack. They've proven that they're good on both sides of the map. But I just think it's going to be more difficult when your Cypher is a stand-in. Like, a lot of the time, like, if you look at the way Cypher is played on this map, it is an anchor hold of the B site quite regularly, a lot of information to be found around middle and in towards B main, well, even if just the communication is a little bit off, that means Demon One has to kill a whole team as they run into the site. I don't believe that he's going to be able to do that. He needs to have those supportive bits of utility to help him. So I think, if anything, the ease should be more so on that attack side, especially when you got this double duelist. Like, you need on the defense to have that push on one side and him as the hold on the other. On the attack, you can be a little bit more loose. But thus far, the loose style has meant that someone is getting caught in most rounds early because T1 aren't just sitting back and letting you have that control.
Well, this should be the easier, as you said, Tom, for DRG to put the pieces together with the stand-in. So far, they have yet to win a rifle round, and now is their chance to right that wrong. Ackerman back to winning ways in those early fights. Paranoia sent through, but that doesn't stop them as Demon One picks up another, and another stacks down, but DH in the corner has a beat spot! DH, he'll only get 2. Demon One saves them. Meteor left alone in a 1v3. That could have been a nail in the coffin of DRG. I don't know how that corner was left uncleared for so long, especially when the Paranoia was thrown through from that position. But they've righted the wrongs here, at least.
Yeah. I guess it just literally came down to we've killed enough people, there could possibly be another one in the corner. And honestly, for DH, it's a nice try. Like, you look at that with so many players open and you go, maybe he should have got all of them, but he was able to at least take 2. The problem is the damage was already done, and thankfully for the rest of the players, Demon One was quick enough on the trigger to be able to take him down. That flash as well. Buzz was so unbelievably blind.
Phenomenal flash from Spirit Z1. That got way too close in the cubby. You know, you can't put your head that low, too, from that position. Strongest teams with rifles, not so much. We'll see if there's going to be a change as finally we see the countdown moving towards 0. No, Tom?
Until it hits 0.
Not right now.
I'm not in until it hits 0.
Barriers are going to go up. Players are logged back in. PC swap successful. Client issues subsided. But T1, they have issues of their own. Economy's in the bin. And a weak bye coming through after that loss in the previous round. This should be DRG's first back-to-back round win.
Oh, wow. You said like a million jinxes back-to-back. There's all the tech pause stuff, and then you've hit us with the they should win their round.
I'm feeling good today, Tom.
Buzz has a stinger. It's been the best gun in this match so far. And after early control over A, they've immediately rotated to mid, expecting there to be some pressure put through on that side. The drone should, yep, that's going to get a little bit of extra information. Now they're going to try and pincer in on them. It's a little bit dangerous, but I like the use of the dimensional drift. Will allow the escape and also give Nick a good opportunity to try and clear them up. The Stinger still going strong.
Yeah, the damage is certainly being done, but T1
Spike planted.
not going to deny the plant. Going to lose another player into the trades in the meantime. And DRG,
Buzz
3
has a rifle.
versus 2. Buzz has got a rifle, and last time he was in a position where he was the one we looked at, it was a 3K in A main. He dominated and gave T1 a real chance. I think that's why they converted. But now, smoked out, time ticking. No paranoia to work with. No stun. Not even a slide. Nothing to help out on this. This has got to be raw aim power. They're not looking the right way here. That's a free kill. Flexen gets caught off guard, diving in. Buzz gets one, and now it's a 1v1 with Ackerman. But just about, DRG will connect the win. 2 in a row, found at last, and both with rifles.
Yeah, it gets incredibly close towards the end. I like that Ackerman is just so quick to make sure that trade goes through, knowing that his opponent's in a little bit of trouble after being stunned up, but it does mean that everything is incredibly close in the end. But if DRG can continue this climb back, I don't think they're going to mind too much. This is, however, where we do get those guns coming back online. So, Mitch, I'm going to hand this one over to you. I think you had about 17 jinxes. What do you have to say for yourself?
Honestly, it's just my bad.
Yep.
I was feeling good. I got a little too confident for a moment there, but I'm starting to regret that now. 6-4 nonetheless. I tell you what, DRG looking good. They've connected them back to back, and as I said earlier, you know, they made the best of that downtime. They corrected course.
But to be fair, they have a pretty good record after technical pauses of winning rounds, so.
Here, at least, today. I'm not sure you have the stat regionally, but...
I don't think anybody has those stats regionally.
Didn't come prepared, huh, Tom?
Maybe within EMEA a while ago, you could say that was almost every round. So anybody who won the game just was good at winning after technical pauses, but...
KC, some of the best.
We improved. We improved.
We did, bit by bit.
We definitely
I actually
improved.
was the one that fixed it all. It was all me. But yeah, for T1, still stuck on 6, now conceding 2 in a row, and a big lead of 6-2. Starting to look like we could be even Steven at the halftime. One thing I've noticed in the break, actually, I'm not talking about the tech pause, I mean in between maps. We had Demon 1, like, I was looking down at the stage a lot, and that guy was locked in, not on his monitor, he had his head down. He was like calming the nerves, obviously doing a lot of thinking about that previous map where, as we said, he had a phenomenal showing, you know? But I think he's disappointed not to have closed out that map. And coming in here locked in, we already saw him save the day, really, for DRG in what, round number 9, the first of these 2 that they've just had, where he manages to find a 3K in opening trades, not opening duels, but his teammates go down every step of the way. He's the one bringing it back and keeping them with the advantage, or at least keeping them even. It's a very important thing to see him with confidence, especially in this role, especially after it's been almost 5 months since we've seen him on a stage, let alone the international.
The fun thing about this matchup is that if they win this, I think most people going off the next match would have G2 winning. And so then he'd get to play against Jorgamo to make it through the groups. Like, it would be one hell of a storyline if they're able to turn this around. I say it's not looking fantastic. The last couple of rounds have definitely given us some hope, although they've been so far and few between that you can't say that there's been any sort of momentum really building.
Well, also look how close that one was from T1's perspective. They came in with next to nothing. A couple of blows dealt out by DRG, and yet they kept trading it back and forth to a 1 versus 1 in the end. And it was Ackerman who had to pull them out of it. So in a round where DRG, like, we come in going, oh, well, they should be winning this. This should be their victory. It very nearly wasn't. And for T1, that's fantastic. They're making the rounds that should be dominant for their opponent competitive. And now that they'll have rifles coming back in, now that we could see that op on Izu again, depending on how they distribute their economy, this could very much be where they hammer it home and lock in an 8-4 lead for the halftime.
Well, that will be the other issue for T1. If this goes back to 6-6, I think they'll feel gutted because it will be 2 rounds of SMGs and then sort of like a lot of close rounds that could have easily gone their way to a very, very dominant half on their own map choice. And instead, they'll now be going into what should, in theory, at least based on the most recent result, be the better half. Oh, I like this. Oh, he's just been that's just brutal, isn't it?
that's actually
that's fine. Okay. Is he saying no as in he's better? Let's see who's coming up as
I
Radiant.
can't believe they just smacked a silver on someone. I mean, that's
First
rude.
one as well.
Yeah, look, there's Ascendant. Lower.
Lower.
Ah.
Oh no, you say higher. Lie, no one will ever know.
But technically, if that's what we're doing, up or down, the silver guy said low. Is he bronze? That's tough. I think he's accidentally violated himself. These things happen. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he's ready! He's ready!
I hope it comes up silver now.
That's actually fire. He's sat in the crowd with his ranked rating. And RR.
Can we get this on Doug? I want to know what rank Doug is.
I want to know Sue. She's never played a Jet.
Radiant,
in a ranked
obviously
game.
Radiant.
That's a
Not boosted Radiant.
Not boosted, absolutely. She hasn't been playing.
Who could even boost it, honestly?
Oh, jeez.
No, as in like, who would do that?
I don't think he could boost Sue because she deserves the top rank.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen her play.
Lurking on Killjoy with an Odin.
Nothing wrong with that, Tom.
Yes,
that time you realized
many things wrong with that.
6-4 is the score, and it looks like we're ready to dive back on into the game. Sunset, 2 rounds left to play for in this half. T1 leading by 2, but they've just conceded 2 in a row as DRG start to put rifle rounds on the board. This is where the first roadblock will be hit. T1 have full rifles. They've got the operator out on Izu as well. A turning point perhaps for the defense, who still have a chance to finish this half with the lead that they had just moments ago. A convincing 8-4 on the cards. The DRG are coming in with momentum.
Face your fear!
Immediate usage of that Nightfall, an attempted TP, and it has failed miserably. Meteor swinging out of mid is already looking to put this one to bed. Back on the rifles and back to winning ways for T1. Well, that tech pause win rate has just gone down drastically for the side of DRG. They've just been slammed.
Yeah, that's a pretty tough pill to swallow over on the DRG side. Again, they connect those 2 rifle rounds in a row, one against an eco, but the second resistance is shown. Flex and caught in the TP. They turned around just in time. And it might seem silly, but you have to think the Fatal was put through. The Nightfall was there, so that player couldn't hear him, but the Spidey senses tingled just in time as the pressure was being put on elsewhere. And then they rush in to try to convert on that distraction. But Meteor ends up disrupting it from that mid push. 1 round left to play for in the half. T1 already guaranteed a lead, but by how much? Look how aggressive Buzz is being. He has pushed them out of mid. I mean, DRG are locked into an A push, like it or not, and that's where the Hunter's Fury is tracking them down.
Demon 1 only on a pistol, the rest of the team making their way into elbow, but this early push has definitely put some doubt in their mind. The rest of T1 seemingly quite happy to almost play this retake style setup, as now the attack look to make their move.
Got you, found my wire.
Meteor, he's been a menace through the smokes, but that reveal, it's caught him off. Well played by Nick. The advantage now found and converted into a 2 by Nick. The flash they thought would be the difference maker, but DH gets caught out alone as well. Crumbling under the pressure applied by Nick. We're left into a 1v3 for Buzz. They know where he is, and they're lined up with a firing squad. 7-5 locked in at the halftime, but T1 maintained the lead.
Yeah, no, a very good recovery from DRG. It was a spot where from 6-2 up, they definitely seemed like they were going to struggle. Nonetheless, we'll be back after the break.
Let's go.
Welcome back, folks. Halftime concluded, and it's time for your Coinbase Econ report. Now, this was a bit of a crazy map so far. I know for me, but yep, there we go. Buzz was definitely the standout. Give him a rifle in an eco, and the man gave you a round win.
Yep. No, he had a stellar half. I think especially now going into the attack side, it already seemed like he was a pretty big focal point of their defense, but I only assume that that's going to be even more so going into this second half. The setup from the likes of DH and Stax has been stellar all the way through the match, but you also have to talk about Meteor. Given that little bit of additional space to sort of get in behind, and he's always going to cause you issues. On the other side of things, a late show up from Nick also helped out massively the final round, bringing things back into contention. And well, I said it before, the last time that DRG played this map, they had a very dominant defense. We'll see if that can be recreated.
Well, they have to hope so, needing a third map here. T1 already claiming Lotus. But this is T1's pick, one they came in prepared to play. There's no doubt. Aggression early on towards mid. 4 players up close, and it's Spirit Z1, a man who had plenty of opening duels go his way. And although he finds DH, the trade is immediate. And the space, well, they're taking it right towards Ackerman. Good stun, but a player further back, unstunned is Buzz. And he will be unwavering as they move towards this site.
Oh.
Flexen caught down to 20 and completely boxed in. Nowhere to go. And he's wrapped on, but he at least finds one.
Yeah, that could have gone a lot worse. It looked like he was going to get nothing for his troubles. Even still, though, Stax is going to spot out the first. I don't know if they've necessarily seen Nick just yet. Meteor is going for the fight, a little bit individualistic. The swing back wasn't bad, but Demon One's done well. Unaware of where Buzz currently is trying to figure out every single angle. Instead, he's being swung on, and it's Buzz once again. He is having one hell of a game, closing out the pistol as he started it. 3 in the round, and a 3-round lead now for T1.
Yeah, that pistol's just going to send them further into the lead, make this a much more difficult battle for DRG. And here's an interesting question, because they've been extremely good when it comes to the weak buys, when it comes to the stingers. At this point, it's a risk, but you could see them go in for a stinger bot. Looks like they've decided against it, though.
On defense, it's so much more of a gamble. Like on attack, you can run it down. You can maybe find 1 or 2 players on their own. On defense, you have to basically pray you run into the stack of players, which may have happened. And at least for now, they have got their stack in the right place at the right time. They don't have the weaponry to back it up, but I feel like this is very all in for the side of T1, but they are doing well to pick apart these pistols. There was definitely danger in this round, but oh, Buzz, he's happy to run into danger head first.
And they're even clearing the backside. You know, Demon One had a chance to fly under the radar there. You'd think that, okay, they 4-stacked A and then left one guy to play info around mid, around B, deep camera, so they can rotate early, but no, he was there as well, and T1 won't be caught off guard by that sneaky little play. 9-5 now on the board. A big lead. We have seen the gap close in, but it took everything DRG had to offer. And again, it's been a while since we touched on it. The stakes for this team, they have to outlive XLG in this tournament, or Ascension will be calling them.
Cutting through.
Both teams having a very tough lower bracket, regardless of how results go.
Hello.
He's playing like his life's on the line, and Spirit Z1's there to back him up. It's a clean round from DRG. The bounce back might continue, or might start here with a flawless.
Yeah, what a response. We've hyped up Buzz all the way through. He still sits atop the pile, but it's the same sort of stuff we saw from him in the first half. Ackerman just taking over that control, fighting tooth and nail with a teammate alongside him and just landing every single shot. Superb round from him. Puts them back on the board in clean fashion. But they're going to need a few more of those. Still 3 behind.
It's one of those things as well, just the impact of Flexion's paranoia straight down through that laneway. It's so difficult to play against. This time it comes in at a bit of an angle, and it doesn't catch the first player through. Buzz able to follow up as a result. DH and Stacks with their own kills in the A site. It's fallen just like that. DRG trying to repeat the success of the previous round, but they're not quite as all in about it. Trying to push around through elbow. The paranoia out of position, and ultimately the wall from Buzz is what stops that from being a bit more risky. Because yes, he could see, but the rest of his squad was blinded up. But no one could follow up on that from the defensive side as they were locked out. And once Buzz came swinging through, it was done.
This is the problem with those sort of A-side aggressive plays. Is like, it really does feel like a coin flip. Like, whoever hits their utility at the right place at the right time, whoever lands that first shot can create a domino effect. Think about it. Last round was a flawless in the favor of DRG. This, well, it's not flawless because 2 players are probably going to survive, but it's flawless for the attack who are not losing a player. It's just not a sustainable way to play the game. And because of that, T1 immediately bounced back. And sure, there's enough credits for DRG to buy into the next round, but they need to find something that will consistently work.
And they're running out of time as well. Yeah, they've got the credits here, but it's going to fade very quickly.
Good, man.
They slide through. He was even stunned up, doesn't matter. And blinded on the other. I mean, those are fights for the most part that you're at a major disadvantage. There's your Meteor fan in the crowd. Happy that T1 push up to double digits, 4 rounds ahead. Rifles for DRG, but this is one of their last opportunities to fight for this map, to fight for this series. And it will be Buzz and Izu and DH falling at the hands of Spirit T1. A coin flip that lands in their favor this time.
This is such a ridiculous way to play the game. Literally, our entire map is being decided in one corner. A main. That's where everybody lives or everybody dies. And we have now just flip a coin. Let's just get everybody on stage and we'll just flip a coin each round, and whoever gets it on heads is going to be the winner. It is absurd. I love the fact as well that we have spoken about Demon 1 being in this squad. He's the B player. Like, he's just been, for this whole game, he's like, are you winning, son? No? Okay, I'll save. Yes? Awesome. Great job, guys.
Well, one of the things you said was like, oh, when they come to push B, his communication's going to be key.
Yeah, they
well,
just
it hasn't mattered at all. They haven't come towards his side. But this time, it's different. T1 don't decide to just throw themselves into the blender
They've
on
just
A.
walked up A with the spike.
They have. The idea here is to fake it out and look at how it's worked. DRG rotate. They push mid with 3 early, come through market to reinforce the B side, thinking that's where the hit's coming in. But now, those players stepping back in the other direction and seeing no contest around A main, T1 should be sensing that this side is much lighter defended. And in fact, it is only flexing.
Well, DRG are now pushing up. This is where they now have the information. They've cleared out B, but I think it's going to be too little too late. A TP at least from Spirit Z1. And now he's going to be able to find them that information. He now knows that this is another A hit, but it's not a stack up of players anymore. Rotation is coming in, but they can't take this risk. It's just not worth it. It's down to the spams, but nice work from Flexen. That stack's gone.
Yeah, Flexen making a different name for himself when it comes to A main on Sunset. The spike will be retrieved. However, T1, they're not looking to the side, at least not with 2 of their players. Paranoia being lined up right now, but they don't find the picks and swinging deep. Nick unblinded, able to drop DH. It's picks across the board for DRG. A response from Meteor. This could be the MVP performance. In fact, it might need to be Buzz by his side. Another for Meteor. Buzz with 1, and it's Izu alone against Demon 1 in the clutch. 3 rounds between them around DRG need, but Izu won't give it. 11 on the board. T1 a step closer to dominating this series, as close as it's been.
This is one of the first sort of like close rounds we've seen in a while, and a lot of it came down to Meteor. His target isolation was sublime every single time, not giving them an opportunity for a trade, well aware of the angles that were left missing, and gave Izu a chance, maybe in a round that they never should have had one, because the way that kicked off looked so good for the side of DRG. Well, at least in the early stages, we're right back to regular programming. Izu's looked to fight towards that A site with a multitude of DRG players ready and waiting. The rest of T1, though, they're going a different way.
Flexen definitely having a better time when it comes to A main. Demon One, though, under heavy pressure, finds one, but he'll go down eventually. Thunder's Fury clearing out the backside, at least the closer corners. That's going to get the paranoia out of DH with a deep swing. Spirit Z1 falls, but Ackerman's there so quick to trade this back. The advantage stays with the defensive side. The spike trapped on the site. There shouldn't be a way for him to get out of here. The drone feeling Ackerman as Meteor creeps his way ever closer. He's got this wrap around. It's really down to Flexen's timing, and he's not clearing the angle. He's not covering it. But eventually the trade comes through, leaving Stax alone against two.
He's known for his ability to clutch, but they're grouping up, looking to play this together. A wonderful reposition from Flexen. Didn't want to give another isolated fight, so he joins his teammate and closes that distance once more, but it has been at 3 for a very long time. They've never been able to close that gap any further. And we now wait to see if they can finally start to string rounds together.
Well, it's very much now or never. Look at this from Flexen to open up the round as well. It was a TP across that gap early, a hunt to bait for him. He swings on the back of it. Demon One doing great work to find one. Ackerman's quick trade through the smoke, but really the round's about Flexen. A main was not a place that he had very many favorable fights in the previous map, but going into this, it seems like he owns it. They'll need to keep ownership over that. Spike towards B this time, and the early pressure on A. Paranoia, primed and ready, not used. Bucky in play for Ackerman, sensing that it's going to be a winker buy and that he can get aggressive with that without too much risk of delivering a big weapon to his opponents. I like that adjustment, especially with the ult in the back pocket. Demon One does well to stick around and find one, and look, they can even get a plant here.
Yeah, the only thing is the rifle on Meteor. Looking to get in behind, that's the one for free. Now needs to isolate this duel onto Demon One. This is going to be important. He wins this, and the round is genuinely on. The paranoia, though, fantastic. It's going to force them away. Pop flash back, but again, the pressure is all on Meteor at the moment. The rest of the players still yet to claim any weapons. They're trying to give space for him, but he is being spammed out already. Meteor, he somehow manages to find another, puts it down to a 1 versus 1. DH into the clutch, running round. Just trying to get away from an opponent who's running in, and he hits him, but it's not quite enough. Meteor did so much in that round, but luckily, DRG will live to tell the tale.
A 4K, I mean, we talked about Buzz when it comes to having the rifle with the weakness, but jeez, that is ridiculous.
Did we need that slow mode?
Look at this, he steps into the wall. They thought that's going to be their fast lane to success, and instead it was very nearly their downfall. Isolating. Just one man, but he fires back so strong. DRG able to close the gap to 2 now. The rifles back out on T1, and another close round with weaknesses. It makes me worried.
Oh, faster play being attempted. Izu is going to spot a lot of players out with the shorty, and that's Nick already gone. A fantastic start, which will give them a lot of space. There is still another player here, but they're going to be revealed. Meteor's been getting so many kills that that neural theft is already back online.
Izu's such a madman, but he needs to deliver more. Meteor and DH down. Here comes the ult out of Spirit Z1. A lot of information to work with. Good stun though from Buzz, and he converts the kill. Izu expecting that decoy, but Spirit Z1 delivering in every fight and caught with a flash in hand. Meteor with a 4K in the previous. Spirit Z1 connects the same, and it's double digits now for DRG. Just one behind, and the economy of T1 starting to struggle.
I really like the way that T1 tried to play that. They see that Spirit Z1 is going into the ult, so they push back sight. They try and avoid him while he's giving information, take another fight, but the fact is, he was the danger in that round. He was the problem that they needed to get rid of, and individually was enough to take that one home. We said about rounds being brought together in a row. This has meant that T1 now feel the need to pull out that timeout, because from this point it's been a back and forth with them taking the pistol, the follow-up rounds as well. That gave them a pretty big advantage. If you win both pistols, win a third round bonus in the first half, and then still lose the map, I'll be honest, I start to understand Autumn's frustration from earlier in the game.
Without a doubt, the timeout from T1 here to course correct. This is a tough round to do it in. As we said, the economy now taking a big hit. We should be looking at 11 to 11. It's on DRG to make that happen, but they come in with a nightfall as well. It'll be great to clear out some of these positions that you're going to be worried about with those weaker weapons, with those shorties, or even the buckies. Buzz is pulling one out. We saw it attempted from Ackerman to little avail, but I think on the attack side, depending on your routing, somewhere you can find a lot of value. And we're right back to this A main aggression. It's going to be a very direct play with Stacks. Yeah, I was going to say he had a Guardian. Oh, he has a Guardian again. Time's running out. Is he keeping that? He's on the other side of the map. I don't know if this is going to be in a pump fake towards A and a rotate back. We'll see. Reveal's on the way, and there might not be any going back. Flexen and Ackerman have shut them down.
Now we have seen that double duel is really starting to come alive. It's another big round from Ackerman and a complete shutdown of that A site push. 4 in a row now for DRG. They left it late, but have really started to build into this one. We've spoken about the different stories on either side. T1, a team that won the first Masters, didn't make the second, and now look to come back at Champions. And DRG, an Ascension team that need to do better than XLG in this tournament. Otherwise, they have to go from Champions to Ascension just to stay within the league. They are fighting for that right now.
I'm out of here.
At least on the other side, it's much more of that direct take again. But there's a couple of players to deal with.
Meteor being one of them. On his way through, DRG lose Demon 1, lose those traps, and all the information. On retake, they've still got a lot to work with. Nightfall, primarily. Nick throws that through, but a TP from DH. He is behind them now. Buying time, perhaps. A thorn in their side, but Flexen quickly eliminates him. Stacks grabbing himself one, but he's fallen, and Buzz left alone, surrounded and dealt with. From a big lead in half one, 6-2 up. At the halftime, they had the lead. They won the pistol. They extended it. But T1 now trail by 1 and need another overtime, this time on their pick.
Yeah, this has honestly been a surprise. The way that the rest of this map were going, I thought that T1 had this dead to rights. A 6-2 start, half going in their favor, second pistol to give them the lead, but some real resilience being shown by DRG. They came in as the number 2 seed for China, but I think many had the expectation that once Demon 1 was added in as a substitute for Vukashu, one of their best players, that this was going to be a different story. But maybe not just yet. Buzz, though, he still has other ideas. DH as well. Overtime, it's coming, Mitch. We're going to get it for the second map in the row, unless Demon 1 can pull off a 1v5.
Well, he certainly got his moments inscribed in the history books. You think about him standing on the stage, and hell, he might mount that, on the table, I say. And he might mount it again if he wins this one. In fact, he'd be very much justified to do so. A steamrolling from T1. We saw throughout that break between the maps just how deflated he was. Losing that first. Having the opportunity to close it out, but you can't put that on him here. They are playing so patient too, and the swing from Buzz to close it, 12-12 with a flawless round. T1, they bought themselves an overtime and another chance to close this series 2-0.
It's actually crazy as well that after how many coin flip rounds we've had on the A side of the map, that they still do this again. Like, this has been just the most A main fight heavy half we've seen, I think, ever. It's not even like the B site isn't popular and when you go across the majority of teams. In fact, these B splits normally so common on the map, but both teams so confident in that fight. I'm almost perplexed that we're seeing DRG set up outside the B site. I didn't even know this half of the map existed.
Gonna change things in OT, I suppose, and a lot of it comes down to the fact that Buzz putting that wall through gives a perfect flash for Izu. Flashes the left side, Buzz is through the wall. It's a guaranteed kill if they're there, and they're almost always there because you want that early A main control. If you give it up, they have a launching point to actually exec on the site. For DRG, the site's set on B most certainly. They're locked in here.
And with how much space Izu already has, it is going to be the rotation back in the other direction. The thing is, though, the pings on the map suggest that maybe DRG expected this all along. They managed to get rid of Stacks from B main. The Prowler forced him off. That even pulled the rotation of Meteor further into position. And now they look to challenge for mid instead.
One player spotted on the left, but DH is standing patiently, paranoia in hand, waiting for that aggression to come through. Here goes the stun, the paranoia, the big swing. Demon won. He was paranoid, and he managed to find the pick. Nick with another. DRG are not going to let this one slip without a serious fight. And Stacks can't match up to the numbers thrown at him. Izu alone.
No chance.
And he's done once he comes through this smoke. That's 13 for DRG. Another map point for this squad. An ascend could be on the horizon.
Yeah, I like the call. Like having that early B main control, falling back, and then, yeah, as you said, it's just a couple of bullets tapped through. I think probably spotted by a teammate a little bit further back, which might have helped him out, but then it's just about this sort of raw aggression of this squad fighting together, the death ball being created. And now for T1, is it going to be the same again? At least not early. They're also selling that same sort of ruse in towards B main. And then the steps being thrown out, but it's mid-control for DRG instead.
They're making this look like a fake, with Buzz making noise early in B main, and then just completely pausing, completely freezing. Then the decoy goes up towards A. The player's there, making some noise. That gets the push out of DRG. But it's traded. Meteor's done well, and he was ready for Ackerman as well. 4 versus 3. Now they group and push together, and guess where they push? Of course, it's A main. The pressure again put onto Flex, and he is completely isolated here.
Yeah, and it's not even like this time there's a gate crash available to get Spirit Z1 back over. He's put it on the left side towards B. So he's just going to have to walk there. But definitely doubt being put into their minds.
They've got Cypher ult.
Yeah, Meteor. Tenchi just going back to look for a corpse. That will give them all the information they could ever need, and this lets them know that for now the A site is completely open, although
30 seconds
Flexen is going to push right into it.
It's a great reposition, but the angle's going to be cleared anyways, and Buzz lands the shot. Flash through from Spirit Z1. Oh, but up close DH can't get the better of him. A 2 versus 1. Demon One's been in so many tough clutches, but this one winnable. But
Who's gonna look?
They're
Who's gonna
both
look?
the wrong way, backing into each other. But when he fires his shot, Demon One gives the game away. 13-13, another overtime. A game that I think a lot of people would have expected to be a bit one-sided, and it's been anything but.
But the other thing as well is just, I feel like every time that it looks like it's going to slip away, Meteor just pulls out a round out of absolutely nowhere. Like in the first map, I want to say it wasn't the Meteor that we expected to see. This map, it has been exactly that. Like it's had so many high impact moments, and yeah, that one, okay, that's about as free as it gets. Autumn is going to take a timeout once again. Like I said, it seems like he likes to use the timeouts in the half that they've been struggling on, and I like that. Coming in, they have not been able to find too much when it comes to these defensive rounds, at least so far in OT. So he's going to try and give his squad a plan. That did work for them to win 15-13 on the previous map.
DRG having a moment to talk as well. Pressure, I imagine for a lot of these players, never been this high. An OT loss before, this could be them fighting for a 2-0 in favor of DRG, and instead they're fighting for survival, just like in the grand scheme of things with XLG and the Ascension points. You need to make that deep run, and it starts here for DRG. Attack side, as the timeout subsides, the barriers soon to go up, and well, DRG thinking about A main aggression.
Who is surprised by that? The fight that has been going throughout the entirety of this one. Spam's doing quite a lot of damage onto Meteor. Stack's going walkabout. Flexin has made it into mid, but it seems like his opponent is well away. He's managed to get through, though. That's something that T1 desperately have to deal with. They're going to go hunting. Buzz is being sent to try and get rid of this man, but in the meantime, they are fighting. Dealt with one, though, and they've left Meteor to try and defend. He does well until dropped, but it's Buzz instead. A further advantage garnered. Although with him low, and he's on an operator, there's still a good chance here for DRG.
It's the Izu off. They already have the man advantage for T1, but now they can sit and hold an angle. Any peek in that direction is almost an immediate loss. Izu's been pretty consistent with that, but now swaps over to the rifle as push comes to shove, and it's time to get aggressive. And DRG are waiting for this, though. They're looking for the fight, but Izu's the one bringing the heat. 14-13 after the timeout. T1 are now facing into map and series point. DRG, they're going to have to dig deep, even just on an emotional level with what they've been through in this game. This could be already over in their favor.
This fight was so integral. Once again, Meteor holding the line, Buzz doing so much work. They both had fantastic maps, and then even just at the end of the round, it's the movement from Buzz. I think he's definitely got one of the best movement on Neon I've ever seen. Like, the amount of bullets it takes even to kill him, by that point, that's where you have the swing out from Izu, and that player has already been spamming bullets. They don't have time to correct. We spoke about how T1 like to call those pauses going into the round they've been struggling in, those defensive rounds. That's what they've done. DRG, they're calling it because otherwise they're in the lower bracket.
I think this is honestly the hardest part of the job for a coach. Yeah, 14-13, you're deep in OTs. You feel like even just the smallest adjustment on each of these maps, and it's already your series, but you could be facing a 2-0 regardless, balancing those emotions alongside the tactics.
It's also as well, when you've played 27 rounds of a game, how do you then go, I have something for round 28?
I have something new.
Yeah. It's difficult. Or to just spot something that you think can be adapted, especially when a lot of the attack side for T1 was just ramming their head into the A side.
Well, you could probably say they're going to round their head into the A side.
That doesn't mean you'll win.
But, you know, it's something else to
flip a coin.
To have the counter, so to speak.
They're going again.
Not full committal, though. This is a fake. You can see just even in the numbers, and they're drawing the numbers completely over to that side of the map, but DRG already had a gate crash in play. Spirit C1 was ready for this. This must have been discussed by DRG. Now they've got two players on the site with a quick rotation from Ackerman. The numbers are here. The defenders have now fallen for the ruse, and they will go ahead in the early fights. Demon 1 and Spirit C1, they know that DH is here. The TP crosses the trap. Early flank online for DRG with the man advantage. They just need to buy time now. Draw the eye of their opponents. That's a freebie for Flexin. DRG look to stay alive here as Meteor is shut down after one. DH follows. And T1, they will not be taking this 15-13. This isn't map number one. We're going further, deeper into the series for another overtime.
Yeah, I love the adaptation in this round. It was just that gate crash, allowing quick enough rotations after the initial contact. There wasn't a follow-up, and the mid-round call was perfect. Maybe that was the plan all along, but I genuinely think it was, okay, I've seen nothing, go, go, go. We need to get back to the other side of the map and fast. And T1's plan wasn't necessarily a bad one, but it was just how quick they were able to react. 14-14. Lower bracket for one of these teams versus either Heretics or G2. It's not a pretty picture, and DRG are not ready just yet to give that one up.
Oh, the shot from Izu. That Spirit Z1 down, a big part of this aggression, a big part of the opening duels that DRG have been able to win, and the reposition from Izu, it's not getting any better for the attackers. He's now ready with Buzz by his side, a deadly duo indeed, and it's Buzz with the triple! DRG decimated in this round! Only Nick standing, and that doesn't last long. Another chance to close the series out for T1.
Buzz has really been impossible to deal with throughout this map so far. I think even the steps of Izu might have just baited them into a false sense of security, like maybe have an operator to face off against, and then you walk into the hands of an absolute menace. This shot as well, just so clean with it. I believe that was his 31st kill. It is. And now, well, once again, DRG are in a position where they have to find a response.
T1 again looking to fake out that presence to the A side, but it's early spotted by DRG. Trap going to catch Buzz, and he'll be put in his place by Spirit Z1 this time. Demon 1 on the line, catches another, and T1, again, they have the chance to close it, but again, it's DRG digging deep on this defensive side. Meteor, he's been the one to pull them out of these bad situations, but he has to go huge here. Even the double isn't enough, but stacks on mid. It's done! 16-14, T1! They've decimated DRG in a close battle, but when it matters, they stepped up to the plate.
I don't know what just happened for Spirit T1. That looked like a free kill, and I don't know if he quick switched or something, but it's going to be the death of them. Meteor and Buzz both just having phenomenal performances, and well, we talk about a team that has been there and won themselves a championship this year. It takes digging incredibly deep versus DRG. Both maps heading their way to overtime of 15-13, 16-14. It literally couldn't have been any closer. And the finest of margins for a team, not only fighting in champions, but fighting to not have to go back to Ascension. It's a good showing, especially for a team with a stand-in.
Oh, without a doubt. This could have been either team stepping up for your post-match interview, but in the end, it is T1 to take it across the line. They dug deep here. They played 3 maps worth of Valorant in 2, and they'll take it 2-0. Powered by T1 indeed. A well-earned moment in the spotlight down on that stage. Some phenomenal performances